Hello, and welcome to the Footy Podcast. To benefit Here's Help. Here's Help is a nonprofit comprehensive rehabilitation and educational agency that's been providing treatment services in South Florida since 1968. For more information on Here's Help or Footy's podcast, you can contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. Now, here's Footy.
Welcome aboard on Footy. This is the Footy Show, the podcast. We're here every week, and we're glad that you joined us today. Ron Hersey is our producer. You remember him from about 27 other radio stations. And we have actual special guest, Tracy, Chef Tracy, actually. Let me explain how it works. Here at Here's Help, our motto is recovery through education. And we deal with a fairly younger population. And what we try to do is we try to teach them a replacement life. In other words, something else to do, some other way to go. Because people they're in substance abuse and drug use, and they get just trapped in that.
And I've often used the analogy: it's like a job. It's a full-time job from being awake to falling asleep. So you got a lot of hours to fill. Yeah. So anyway,
we're trying to teach our people the replacement life. His whole life could be changed if he gets a certificate to do something else.
Of course, it means a lot because it shows that they accomplished something. And a lot of times they don't have anything, they don't have a high school diploma, they haven't gone to college, they don't have anything that shows that they've accomplished anything. So first and foremost, when they come into the kitchen, we like to get them certified with the food handlers, which is your basic level to work in the industry. And just getting that certificate printed out and putting it in their front of their ring binders where they keep their recipes is such a motivational thing for them that it gets them, feeling like
it means something.
Yeah,
it makes their life somewhat meaningful.
And it's a goal. It's something to
and that's
work
the first,
for.
They accomplish that right off the bat, so then they're aware of what they need to do in the kitchen. And then they work towards what I say the driver's license. The food handler is the learner's permit, and then they work towards getting the driver's license, which is the certified food safety professional. And we do that with Serve Safe.
That's the food handler's license?
That's the food manager's.
Okay.
The handler allows them to work in a kitchen in Florida for 3 years. And then the Serve Safe food protection manager certification is they can run a restaurant. Every restaurant that's open has to have a certified food professional manager. So they're hired with that certificate to be that person, that manager that's on the property to make sure everything's done properly.
And they have something.
And it gets them more money. It can be a difference between $10,000 a year in income. And in certain places like, say, the quick service restaurants and so on and so forth, they pay very much. They pay a very much higher wage to start coming in with that certificate. You can go into management and training programs and things like that. So it's a big accomplishment.
But that's a good window of explaining the replacement life, which is what we try to do.
Right. We get them started on a pattern of accomplishment.
Right.
And they get recipes, they accomplish that. They at the end of the day, they've got something to eat, to share, to show off to everybody.
And they have value.
Cupcakes.
They have value.
They created something. They were productive.
And they're doing something different.
Definitely. Sometimes some of them have never cracked an egg, don't know what a frying pan is, never seen a strawberry.
They crack the bank, but never an egg.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're very smart. They just haven't channeled their motivation in the right direction. So what, like you said, replacement, taking that motivation, taking that smartness and what they think they're, smarter than everybody else, and channeling it into a creative way that they can create something that's positive and that's going to reward them without having to look over their shoulder every 5 minutes, see who's chasing them. kind of lifestyle.
Tell us about deboning chickens, because we know that's always a big milestone for guys in
we
culinary.
do that. They have a lot of fun. First we take the chicken and we dance it on the cutting board, and do all kinds of silly stuff because they like that. And then, we have them break it down, just like you'd see a Gordon Ramsay demo, cut the wings off, cut the legs and thighs, take the backbone off, bone it out.
Yeah, that Gordon Ramsay,
like
I've
that.
been to his restaurants a couple of times.
So how did you get involved? How did you get started in this line of work? When people ask you what you do, what do you tell them?
Well, I discovered my passion. So when I was really young, I was around 12 years old, I had a very unique upbringing. I lived in Nassau. We didn't go to school. We had a lady that lived in. They would cook the lunches. My mom would put a menu up for the week and they would have to cook. So one day it said spaghetti and a little Anside sauce. And they just opened a jar of spaghetti sauce and put it in a bowl and put it on the table. And I was like, no. This is not what my mom meant. So I would go in the kitchen. And so they started teaching me how to cook. And I didn't realize how much they taught me until I had gone to culinary school. We'd go out in the yard and pick thyme, and they would show me all the herbs and the red peppers and how to cook them with salt and how to cut an onion. So I really got into cooking. And because I was at home all day and we didn't go to school, it was kind of like a therapeutic thing for me. And I would cook for my brothers and sisters. And then I was cooking dinner for the whole family. So I'd done that in my life for years. But when I got to an adult, I was working in the restaurant industry, bartending and things, and I never considered a culinary career. It was just something that I liked to do. And after Hurricane Andrew hit, the people that were going to build Johnson & Wales University ended up staying at a hotel that I was bartending at. And I used to go in the kitchen and cook for them and just throw meals together. And they said, do you ever think of going to culinary school? And I said, never. And they said, well, we're building one in North Miami. You want to go? Long story short, graduated a couple years later, culinary degree. And after I got out of culinary school, I was offered half of what I was making bartending before I went to culinary school. So I was like, this wasn't a really good move. Now I have student loan debt and I'm making half of what I was making. So I started to figure out what was I going to do. I started personal chefing before personal chefing became popular. So I was a personal chef, and then I moved to Jacksonville. Coming from South Florida, I understood the kosher lifestyle and the food. So I got a niche market in Jacksonville and did basically kosher style cooking. And I did that for a couple years and had a catering business up there. And then I moved back to South Florida in 2001, and I had a little 16-seat restaurant in one of the condos, the Renaissance on the Ocean in Dania Beach, for a couple years.
Oh, I met.
And then after that, I opened up Summer Rain Cafe, which was a little sandwich shop, kind of juice bar in a medical building in Hollywood where the VA is. And I had that for 6 years and did real well. And after a couple businesses, I wanted to go into teaching. So I started working for Common Threads, which they go into the public schools. It's a charity, and they teach elementary kids how to cook and things like that. And I did that for a while. And then I got an email off of a resume on Indeed from Here's Help. I never heard of it before, and came to get the job, and then the rest is history. That was in about 2017, and I've been here since then.
Awesome. Well, I know the guys, all the guys talk about you. You really have, you're dynamic, and you've made a big impact on them, not just from a cooking standpoint.
Yeah, and it's something they can relate to.
Right.
And it's something that they can achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I always tell everybody that what you think about who you are and what you think about yourself determines where you're going to go in life. And I always try to give them a positive outlook on life and tell them that whatever happened in the past, I don't want to know. We're starting from today and we look forward.
Yeah, because we get a lot of pasts.
I don't want to know. But I always tell them, look, when you're driving a car, you got a big front window and a tiny rear view mirror. You cannot drive looking in the rear view mirror. You can only drive looking through the front window. So I always tell
is that where I'm going wrong?
Maybe, I don't know. But I always tell them, look through the front window, and that's what we go from today forward, and what can I accomplish? What can I accomplish? And build on that. And I just think that's, and everybody loves
Plus
to eat.
Plus they learn.
Yeah.
Plus it's a skill to them, and it's a skill, and they are learning it, and in many cases, it changes their lives.
It makes their life better no matter what they do with it. Even if they go home and cook a dinner for their family or a meal for their girlfriend, or if they go into the industry and get a food truck or a restaurant, whatever they do, they're better because they learn something. Right. They're better off. They feel better about themselves.
See, I made a big mistake. Because now we have Tracy on the air, and there's some guy driving down the road who has some cheesy restaurant, and he's going to try to hire her.
All right. Well, all right.
No, I'm teaching.
Just stop this right now. Stop this.
Just teaching.
Yeah.
No, I can't give up my boys. I say when I get there in the morning and I make breakfast and there's 20 plus guys coming up for their plate in the morning. Good morning, chef. Good morning, chef. Good morning, chef. That makes my day.
Well, let's talk about that too, because in addition to all the other things going on here, there's a garden to table aspect of what you do. And so not only are the guys in culinary involved in setting goals and things, but there's also a whole horticulture class as well, and the two help each other and provide for each other.
You get things.
Yeah, we just got a basket today. I think there's some fresh rosemary in there, some Genovese basil, there's some lettuce, I think romaine in there. So we'll go through that. They're making some koftas, so we'll
because he's just evolving.
Well, I saw it. It's the planting time, so everything is just sprouting, everything's just coming up, and but it's a constant evolution, the garden, because of the weather and if there's
and the time of the year
and the time of the year.
Right.
But I think that's the thing about the horticulture is that they see life develop. They plant a seed, and 6 to 8 weeks later they see a little plant come up, and it's just amazing to them, and it really takes a simple thing like growing a plant and shows you how that can be turned into a career or profitability and a food to table sense of a restaurant, or even when they get the herbs that they taste it, wow, what is this, and then put it into the food and realize they're eating something that's fresh that horticulture grew. It's just a wonderful loop, the way it all kind of works together. The passion comes from sometimes when you have a talent, or if you're born with a passion for something, and you can discover that's life-changing. And with some of the guys, they don't even know what their passions are, and then when they start cooking, it's life-changing for them.
Well, I see that in what's his name with the glasses, the big guy.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking
he's
about.
a whole.
Well, he came from horticulture. He said, I want to go try cooking. I've done as much as I can. Here, let me go over and see what cooking's like, which we've done a couple times with the guys back and forth, which is nice. And he's all excited. I mean, he's been in there cooking.
He's in heaven.
Oh, exactly. Every day he can't wait to get to the kitchen. And what am I going to make? And
yeah. But that's life-changing.
It is.
It's life-changing. You can't. People think, when they think about people who are substance abusing and doing God knows whatever else, is that it's like a switch, and it's really not. It's something that you turn on, and when it's turned on, you're screwed, and when you turn it off, you're screwed. So
I've often said too, I mean, you've got years
you were
of
screwed before they even had switches.
You have years of behavior, and you can't just turn it off in a matter of minutes, and even a matter of weeks. Sometimes it takes almost 2 years.
Yeah. In my case, it took 2 years. They didn't have these like.
They didn't have culinary.
they didn't have like a 30-day whatever.
Well, I think that's a problem for a lot of people. I mean, the people that end up in the program, I always say you're so lucky to be here, because this is a very unique type of a place, and they're not all over the place, and there's not a lot of these type of places out there that incorporate the learning.
Yeah, that's a very
educational part.
That's
of
a
it.
very good point, because we're not like everyone else.
Yeah,
we have a pretty big campus. We have all kinds of buildings. We're building a plumbing school.
There's so many activities, though. They're never bored. If they're not in culinary, they're GED, or they're learning music or art, or there's
just
PE
in this,
or weight.
We have Dade County teachers.
Yeah.
School. And we're I guess a provider.
But we can test for the GED now as well.
Oh yeah, I know.
So we're doing everything right on the campus.
Yeah. And they have a new. I don't know how new he is, but he's the manager of the off-school ground places, and I love this guy because he doesn't take one crap from anybody. When he goes into the classrooms, and Miss Connors and the other ones, You could see them sitting up straight, getting ready, cleaning their desk, and that's exactly what I want. He gets it.
Mm-hmm.
He's an administrator, but he goes to different locations.
Well, that's very important.
We
The
are one of
alternative
his
schools
favorite,
need to be monitored, because
Yeah.
sometimes they slip through the cracks because they're not getting the monitoring.
Sometimes they're in the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
But we're kind of his pet project. You know how long we have had a Dade County school on our grounds?
How long?
40 years, maybe more.
Wow.
Going way, way, way back. I don't even know how far back. Back to the old Lindsay. What was his name? Ben Shepherd. Okay? Most of you won't remember, but he was a school... He was a judge and a school board member.
Mm-hmm.
And he got us our first teachers. And we've had them ever since.
Major. There have been some, in the last couple of years, some horrible stories about exploiting the people that are going to someplace for help.
Well, I think that the exploitation comes from the fact that there isn't any long-term goal for the treatment program.
From the minute,
because
right.
education is what helps long-term.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have any long-term without education. So if you just get someone to stop using, but you don't give them, quote, the replacement life,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing there. There's a void. So they go back to using.
Recovery through education.
Exactly.
There it is. And we also talked a lot about not only giving folks goals and giving them reasons, certifications and the tools that they need to succeed.
We're farmers. We're cooks.
Right.
We're tool builders. We do all types of different things.
Well, in this building alone, in addition to this studio, the Estefans have generously donated an incredible music studio.
Yeah.
There's a couple of drum kits, I don't know, half a dozen guitars, keyboards.
There's a grand piano out there.
A grand piano out here. There's an art class
couple
here.
mannequins.
And a computer
Actually,
lab.
that piano came from Allied Kitchen, the supply place up on Broward Boulevard.
Really?
Yeah, that's where that piano. He was moving, and the piano was too big for the house he was going to.
Wow, so he just
So
donated.
guess who he called? And we put it in here.
It's beautiful.
It's part of our thing. But you're correct too. The Stefans, they have Gloria and Emilio, and all of them have contributed to us through the years, and it's.
Well, what
really
about the
helped.
gym?
Huh?
The equipment for the gym.
Oh yeah.
We got that. We've got a full gym. We've got the beautiful field out there for football and the
Mm-hmm.
volleyball court, and it's a beautiful campus. I mean, the palm trees, and it's just large, beautiful,
Yeah.
like a little oasis.
We are a oasis, but you hit it right on the head. We're a campus.
Mm-hmm.
If people drive past us all the time, they think we're a school. They think we're a high school or something. And
A charter school.
But we're not packed in between buildings. There's
Right.
a huge piece
No,
of
this is a-
property.
And in addition,
Beautiful.
a lot of off-campus stuff as well. The garden, a lot of the horticulture is off-campus.
If you look,
You got the
if
farm
you
down
look,
the street.
if you look
Exactly.
down a little ways, that's our school, our plumbing
school. Every morning I come here on Tuesdays to do this, and I always get out. I always look around the dorm because it's on the other side of the
You know what
dorm.
the problem is? The wood.
Yeah.
There's a
Lumber
shortage
is
of
like-
wood.
You can't. The
And-
bricks are up, but the top's not.
And I heard cement as well. There's this.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. I know lumber's
Yeah,
been an
well,
issue.
we learned about wood.
Wow. So what's the deal with?
Oh, it's skyrocketed. All the housing and building and everything.
We
Lumber's
just-
a very hot commodity right now.
Well, before we finish up, we were talking about folks being generous and supporting Here's Help, and we can't talk about culinary without talking about Pepe Badia. The very first thing that caught my eye, I was just telling Footy before, I really don't go in the other building very often. I come in, do my thing here in the studio, and then leave. But every time I go in, it's when you walk in culinary, because I cook every night. Not really good at it, but I
He's
do it
a
enough.
man slave at home.
Right, I do it enough to enjoy it, And so I walk in there and think, oh my God, what I wouldn't love to be turned loose in this kitchen. He's been great, and that kitchen is amazing.
Yeah, well, Pepe Badia, for those of you who know him, and Badia Spices, his plants are down in the Doral area, and he's the world's greatest guy. He's the nicest guy. He sends us checks out of the blue. And
Yeah, he's been very generous towards
Yeah,
the
he's
culinary program here. I mean, we haven't wanted for anything.
Wow.
You know, anything that we need or anything that we want.
Yeah.
I mean, and all the new spices and things that he's coming up with, it's great. All the
Yeah.
flavored salts and the different blends, and oh yeah, they're great. I love
We
them.
also get stuff from Naib Estefan, Gloria and Emilio, but Naib, he's kind of a cooker, and he sends us stuff from time to
Oh,
time.
okay.
So it's good. So
Well, we want to thank you for watching our podcast, and we've enjoyed. We talk a lot about how the Seinfeld show was a show about nothing. This show is a little bit of everything. We've talked about all kinds of stuff, and it's interesting to see which shows or which podcasts are more popular. So make sure you subscribe, and also click on the little bell on the screen. That way, we'll notify you when a new podcast is up. This one, I think, usually takes about a week from the time we record them to.
and if you want to get
And we got to talk
Footy
about
sauce.
Footy sauce. Yeah.
well, I sold like 10 cases in a minute, and no,
They
because there's a guy that I know up in Fort Lauderdale that him and his friends, that's all they want to get their hands on. So they ran down their last case. So he called me. He's a friend of mine also, and we sent him. Well, we sold him 10 cases, and he's up and operating again. Once you get to the Footy sauce, the wing and the hot, you will never buy another product, because the quality. I mean, you just look at the bottle and you know that you're getting something better. And because a lot of those sauces that you see in those, they're mostly water and salt. This is a product where you have flavor and tone and a lot of other things.
Have you been introduced to Footy sauce? Footy sauce makes it easy to give ordinary chicken wings extraordinary flavor. Footy wing sauce is made with a perfect blend of herbs and spices. So what are you waiting for? Pour it on. Footy's wing sauce guarantees you a better tasting chicken wing every single time. When you fire up the grill, pour it on. Let Footy be your wingman. Kick your next party up a notch with Footy sauce. Grab Footy's wing sauce and pour it on.
So if you're interested in getting your hands on some really good Footy sauce for your chicken wings or your chickens or whatever it happens to be, or if you want to spice things up with a little hot sauce, we have the two products, and we still in most Publix. So go in, and not only is it a quality product, you'll see it when you see the bottle, and you'll look at it, and you'll say, "Oh, this looks like it's pretty good stuff." And we sell it for, the money goes to Here's Help, and to Tracy and her crew. Do you have Footy sauce in the kitchen there?
Cases of it.
Huh?
Cases of it.
Okay, good.
It's on
All
the
right.
shelf, definitely.
Well, we want to thank you again, and thank Pepe Badilla and thank the Estefans for all the help they do. And we want to thank Lori Hersey
Well, don't forget Dan Marino.
and Dan Marino. Well, we could do a whole show just on people who support the
I'm
program.
meeting Mike.
There's a golf tournament coming up.
All
If you
right.
might want to interest
I'll be
people
there.
in.
Yeah.
Yes, at the Pembroke Lakes Golf Course annual. We didn't do it last year because of the whole
Yeah.
2020 thing, but we're doing it this year.
But we have like 40 people signed up already, and it's going to be a blast. Pembroke Lakes
Pembroke
with
Lakes.
Harry Ferguson.
Yeah,
And
that's a lot
you know
of
what they're
fun.
going to let us do? Cook our own food.
That's what we're doing.
I know. We're
Making-
not. Usually we have to get the food from them.
Okay. Oh, the whole thing. Well, we always do the little thing we
Right,
do,
we
but
always
we're
do
doing
our
it
thing.
all this year.
But we're doing it all.
Yeah, so
And
it's gonna be good
gonna
food.
So it'll be much higher quality.
So can folks find out more on here'shelpinc.com? Is there a place they can go there
Go
to
to
get?
here'shelpinc.com or call us right here and ask for Liz or Jenny, and they'll tell you all the details of where everything is. Liz and or Jenny.
And also, of course, if you want to find out more about what's going on here at Here's Help and all the great work that's being done here, you can also go to here'shelpinc.com. And clearly, we've talked about this a lot. Everyone knows someone who really could use some help when it comes
There's
to...
always one of us.
Always, as Footy says. So, if what you're hearing sounds like something you'd like to hear more about, Here's Help Inc. is the way to go. And we'll have more podcasts coming up. Again, I just want to say thanks to Lori Hersey, who works tirelessly
That's your wife.
To do the editing, the great editing that's done here on these shows.
Yeah, we appreciate Lori.
She has to make us look
She's the brains
good.
of your operation anyway.
Well, of course.
Why did she marry you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember
really nice.
Do you remember the great Dennis Smith, our part of our battery of legal experts over the years?
Yeah.
He became a very good friend and took really good care of me over the years with contracts at various places through the years.
Who assigned you to a contract?
Well, because of the way Dennis taught me, I
Dennis,
talked him into it.
Yeah.
I made him think they should sign a contract with me. But I remember introducing him to Lori many years ago, and a couple of days later being invited to lunch, and he goes to me, "So how's Lori?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, she's great." And he goes, "No offense, but what does she see in you?" And I was like, well,
I was getting ready to ask that.
I never thought about it. And he goes, well, maybe you should. So so I did do some thinking about it, and I'm glad she's around.
Well, you've been married a long time.
A long time, since 1989. 4 kids and running our own company. And listen, I shudder to think about where I would be.
You do shows too, right?
You know what? I do so many. I was thinking about that driving here today. In addition to this, in addition to being on the air on the weekends on Sunny 107.9, and in addition to being the production director for Hubbard Radio in West Palm, Lori and I have Hersey Productions. We do advertising for a list of clients, none the least of which is Citibank. And then I'm in a band. I'm Ron Wood in the Rolling Stones band. We play out a couple of times. We like to play out at least once or twice a month. We travel around the state. Our next gig is in Naples on June 2nd.
Really?
Yeah, outdoors in June in Naples.
Oh, sounds like fun.
My stepmother moved there when my father passed away. She went to Naples.
My daughter goes to school in Fort Myers, so
I went to visit her once.
Just once. Anyway, the website is startmeuprs.com. We're also on Facebook. Check us out. Hire us.
So your band is like 150 years old.
What do you mean? Because it's the Stones?
No, because you guys.
The combined age?
No. Each individual is 150 years old. I'm just kidding. So how do people get in touch with your band? How do they hire your band?
Again, just go to startmeuprs.com and you'll find the link to reach out to us. Lori is actually one of our agents. She's been booking
she's the brains of the operation.
As always.
Yeah.
So I let the other guys think it was their idea to bring her in.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why she did that.
There must be something special about me. I must be something. I must have some redeeming qualities. So, I like to think I'm a good parent.
A good parent, and you're a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
nice guys finish last.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it goes.
At least you finish, right?
Right, exactly.
You gotta finish the job. First or last, at least you get the job done.
And on that note, we'll bring this podcast to an end. We'll have another one again real soon. Thanks for watching, and make sure you leave us comments. We love reading your comments. And if you have a suggestion, something about you'd like to hear us talk about, especially me and Footy from our old days at Y100, we've kind of covered that ground. But if we've left any stone unturned.
I retired. I didn't get fired like all you other bums.
Oh, well, at least I got rehired. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to the Footy Podcast. To benefit, Here's Help. For more information about the Footy Podcast or Here's Help, contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help, or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. The executive producer of the Footy podcast is Sam Zacco, COO of Here's Help.